So how often are you up speaking on stage and sharing your knowledge and wisdom?
Well, you know, if you count all the live stuff that we do on streams, I mean, it's every day. But in front of live audiences, like I just did Bucharest, there was 4,200 people there.
Yeah.
The time before that, I think I did my event in February, 34,000 at that. So I've done, what month are we in, May? I've done maybe three speaking gigs this year.
Oh, wow.
I don't do a lot of speaking, but I started my career, when I started my career, I was probably doing 8 a day.
8?
A day.
Wow.
Every day.
Training.
For 250 days of the year.
Oh my goodness.
That were anywhere from 15 minutes if I could get a company to listen to me. These were free presentations. I was trying to, you know, we were talking about the importance of communication. I was trying to get known. In America. And the way I did that was I'd go knock on doors and say, hey, I have an idea for your business. I'd like to tell you about it. I'd like to share it with your employees. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And just listen to me for 20 minutes. So those were like, I did tens of thousands of those in order to get known.
And they were converting into business, or was it more
I didn't know what
brand?
I was doing. They were. The goal was to convert.
Yeah.
But it took me 3 years to ever make any money. This is before I'd written a book. I didn't have a name. Nobody knew Grant Cardone. And, you know, I hadn't quite figured out me yet. But every once in a while, somebody would say, yeah, we like your ideas and we want to do this. And then they would go to this event that I would plan 2 weeks later. So I had 2 weeks planned for an event.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know how hard events are to do.
Incredibly.
Yeah. So we figured out how to put, you know, 200 or 300 people, the right people in a room for an event. We took 14 days to market it. It was me doing all the marketing.
14 days.
14 days I would market. I would go, but I'm calling on businesses door to door.
Yeah.
And very much a marketing and sales job. Very, the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. I was 30 years old. So, you know, I was doing 250 gigs a year, then a promotional company picked me up and we started doing 8 of those larger events a month. So I was doing 100 speaking gigs a month, a year.
A year, that's a lot. Do you not feel like when you're up on stage giving, that you...
No, I did 1 hour in Bucharest. I got on my plane and I was just like, wham. You know? And it was only 1 hour. That's when I was doing 8 hours. Going to the next city doing 8 hours. Not only was it extremely taxing on me, it wasn't good for me. And I don't know that it was good for the audience. It definitely wasn't good for me as a businessman because I was spending too much time speaking and not enough time in my business. Today we flipped the model where I'm spending more time in my business and less time on stages.
Do you feel the skill set of having a camera in front of you on social media versus going up on stage and just speaking in front of hundreds of people, do you feel that the skill sets are very different?
Very different.
Yeah?
Very different. I know people that can do stages. You can't do the camera, the iPhone, you know, just the phone. Can't do a live stream. I know people that can do a live stream that have trouble with a 1 minute Instagram post. So they're all completely different phenomenons. And for me, like, so many little things can change. I'm going to Singapore when I leave here, and I'll do I don't know, an hour and a half there, and you know, just depends on the region. What am I talking about? The audience. I mean, it all depends on free audiences, or sometimes are more difficult to do than paid audiences.
Right.
Corporations that pay for something and have their people come in can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Because the participants not really there because they want to be there.
Interesting.
People that pay more typically are much easier to do.
Ooh, I'm with you. So I have a mantra that people that pay nothing, they tend to do nothing. The people that pay a little, they tend to do a little. People that pay a lot, they do a lot because they have so much skin in the game. They're so invested, and especially when it comes to personal development. Generally speaking, and of course there are exceptions to the rule. But that's the pattern that we've been seeing in this region for sure.
Well, I think when I pay nothing, right? I just don't. You know, you pay 10 or 15,000. We have clients that pay a lot of money for the trainings. They come with the expectation. The guy that pays 25,000 to be part of an event, he's coming with, I need to get my 25 grand back.
Transformation.
Or he's thinking, I want to get 25 million out of this. I mean, that's really, he's making an investment. He's not spending money. When you're paying $200 for something, or worse, $29, or bring 2 people for $50, it's like, dude, if nothing happens, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, we had the biggest no-show on free tickets. We've been marketing. We've marketed 3 of our own events, and we've learned a lot from how difficult that is. We did a free 2-for-1, and when we did, we found out the people that did the free people didn't even show up for the event.
Yeah.
So, just goes to show you.
Psychology of that is fascinating. Have you always been a good natural speaker?
Definitely no. So I've always been like kids. I find kids, are interested in their family, and when they're home and they're around their parents and their siblings, and they're loved and supported, they can be show-offs.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a show-off as a kid, as long as I was in an environment where it was all, where I was around support.
Yeah.
The moment I had anybody start telling me, don't show off, don't toot your own horn, be seen and not heard.
Right.
It caused me a lot of problems, actually, to get hammered down like that. And don't talk to strangers. I was told that growing up.
Yeah, you're right.
And so then you get out of college. I went to college. I got out of college. I thought college was going to do something for me. I got out of college, and if you don't talk to strangers, how are you going to get a job? I was in a sales job that I didn't want to be in because I didn't like talking to people. It was very difficult for me to start a conversation in an elevator or at dinner or go into a party. Still today, like, it's not easy for me to you're interviewing me, right? So it's easy because you're asking me a question, like, I get to answer it. I don't have to come up with something to say to you.
You're a shy guy?
Totally,
Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, totally.
Grant Cardone is shy?
Like, if you met me in in some setting, right? I'm not going to walk up to you.
Really?
Now, if I have a bunch of people around me and I have support, then I can be much more extroverted. but probably half the time, 40% of my time, I'm extremely introverted, and then the other 60%, I'm forcing myself to extrovert.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. It's just the way your mind is created.
Yeah.
And there are techniques around it as well. But you just don't like too much stimuli around you, so you need your own space to recharge, and then you can go out. That's gorgeous. I really didn't expect that.
No.
When I watch your videos, watch you online, it's a lot of energy. You'd expect somebody like that to be that.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't know. I mean, I've met some speakers that don't talk to anybody. They just cannot. They're socially awkward, which you're not. You're pleasant to be around.
Thank you.
But then the second they're up on stage, it's like, now they're on. Yeah, and they really make that distinction between the two.
And I think that is, that has been interesting for me, and it's also been a bit of a disappointment for me as well.
Why?
Because, when I'm going to a business conference, I don't want a performance. I want to hear about a business. So that's why the space, this speaking space, I think it's really important that the audience distinguish between a performance and when I'm getting business advice.
Right.
Because they're completely different things. When Warren Buffett gives business advice, he's talking about things he's doing in business, and then when he's doing a presentation to CNBC, that's a different thing. If you watch what he's doing, you will hear what he's saying differently. And on stage with a performance, you can't see what somebody's doing. You hear what they're saying.
Right.
And that to me is more of a performance. I know actors that unbelievable actors as long as they have a script, but you give them ad lib for 20 minutes, it ain't gonna happen. There's ad lib comedians that if you say, hey, here's a script, they can't read the script. So I'm terrible with scripts. I don't want a script. I'm not a script guy.
So you're always improvising basically on stage.
You can hear the speed at which I respond to things. I'm not filtering anything, right? But you'll also, if I came back to Dubai and did 10 presentations, none of the 10 will be the same.
Oh, good.
They'll all be different.
Keeps it interesting for you.
Yeah, and the audience. And it brings audiences back because they're like, well, I wonder what he's going to do this time.
Yeah.
You know?
But do you structure your speech? Do you say, this is my journey and this is what my key points are going to be?
It depends on if that's what you if you hired me, right, to come in, what does the audience want?
Yeah.
See, there's two people I have to satisfy. One is, in addition to myself, but it's whoever paid me.
Right.
But also the audience is watching. Because if they're not happy, I'm not coming back. Mm-hmm. So, like I did a gig in Arizona. The guy hired me. He wanted me to talk about real estate. There was 500 people there. When I got there, I asked the audience, what do you guys want to hear about?
Oh.
How many real estate investors in the room? And not one person was a real estate investor.
Oh God, yeah.
So I'm like, I made a call. I'm like, I'm not going to do the real estate thing for the one guy that paid me. When I got 500 people that don't invest it, so, and he was upset about it. Yeah. The audience loved it. Yeah. So in that case, I couldn't serve two masters.
I'm with you, but you have to reach a level of experience, not mastery, to be able to do that. Let's go back. Have you been trained in public speaking? Have you been coached?
No.
It's all natural. Like, who inspired you to become, your skill and technique and all of that?
I was forced. It was the only way that I realized the only way I could create a business was to go out and speak to people.
Yeah.
It was just why do I drink water?
Yeah.
I don't drink it because I like it.
So it was like learning on the job.
It was totally learning on the job. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Never watched a video on presenting or how to put a presentation together or.
Oh gosh.
But that's not the way. I would not recommend that for anybody.
And did you ever not succeed? Did you have a blooper situation?
For how many you want? I remember I was in New York. I was doing a presentation to a big fitness operation, a big gym, high-end gym operation in the States, in New York City. And 10 minutes into this deal, I got my mouth dried up. I got cotton mouth.
Oh.
Which is really just an indication that I didn't know what I was doing at that moment. I was scared. I got scared because I didn't know. And if you don't know, you're going to be scared. Like people talk about fear. Fear is not the issue. It's not knowing. Yeah. Because if you know, fear goes away. As long as you know there's no boogeyman, or you look in the closet or under the bed, then you're good. You're like, I can go to sleep now. So the fear is not actually the deal. The not knowing, the mystery. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what the audience wanted. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what the audience needed, right? I had in my mind, okay, they want this or this, but I wasn't sure. And if you're not sure, you can't deliver to the audience. And bang, that cotton mouth hit me. This dryness just took over. I could not find a bottle of water. Now, by this time, this was only 2 or 3 years ago, so I have spoken tens of thousands of times. I've made millions of dollars in front of audiences. Mm-hmm. And you would have thought it was the third presentation I'd ever done in my life. It was the longest, 40 minutes of my life, except for the deal I did in Bogota, Colombia. And I was speaking to 800 generals. And that was, even for my wife who was in the audience, it was even painful for her. So
why? What happened?
It was painful for everybody, dude. It was painful for me. What happened was, and you wouldn't know this until you did this, I was speaking to the Colombian military, 800 generals. And in that setting, there's only one general that you need to make happy.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. 800, there were 799 generals that bow to this guy. Okay, they can't have a gesture, they can't have an emotion, they can't have a response. The only person that matters is that person. Mm-hmm. So we got your coffee for you.
All right, caffeine.
Caffeine. That was, and I was waiting for a response from the audience. This was a great learning for me. You're wonderful. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. All right.
That's your IG update on his phone.
Oh yeah. Are you following me on Instagram, my friend? Make sure
Ganesh,
you follow
are
me.
you following Grant Cardone?
You got to follow me, man.
I searched him yesterday.
You searched me out?
Did you?
Oh, good, man. Follow me, man. Follow me, okay?
Thank you.
This is how I've gotten followers, by the way, one at a time.
Yes.
I was at dinner last night. Hey, you follow me? You follow me? You follow me?
That's one way.
Gary Vaynerchuk told me, he's like, Grant, you don't have to do that. You know, you can actually do it another way. I said, okay. But, you know, human contact's still good too.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'm dying to hear what happened in Bogota. It's like a cliffhanger.
Oh, so Bogota. No, there's only one person, like, no one can have a response. They're generals to the general.
Yeah.
And the only person who can have a response is probably like the ruler here. If he was in a room with a whole bunch of other people, everybody's, you know, I just imagine.
He's flexible.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as firm. It's quite relaxed.
Yeah.
But of course, with the highest hierarchy, people are looking at what the highest hierarchy is doing.
Yeah.
And trying to mimic and appease. This is psychology 101 when it comes to leadership. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, over there, it's not appeasing. It's like, in this situation, was like, these guys are like, no expression.
And you're just speaking and getting
And I'm
like,
speaking English to a Spanish audience, a Colombian audience.
Yeah.
So there's a translator.
Yeah.
On top of that, the only general can only one guy. He loved it, by the way. He loved the presentation. I hated it. My wife hated it. It was a disaster. But, you know, I'm still here today.
You live and you learn.
You know, you learn that, like, okay, you just keep moving.
Yeah.
And still a great experience. I mean, I get to share it with you.
Yeah.
I think people I don't like failing. I think people like hearing about people's failures.
Well, it gives them hope that even somebody like you can fail, but still succeed at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think failure's overrated, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Surely you failed a fair bit.
Oh yeah, I have, but I think I hear a lot of people suggest that you know, they learn more from failing than success. That has not been my experience, but
yeah,
I try to avoid failing.
Well, good idea. But do you not feel like you need to be pushing the envelope so much and so hard that you're on that brink? You know, the risk-reward brink, and then you take off. But sometimes you don't.
If you try that in real estate, right? If you try that with money, failing with money, you're just going to end up with no money. You can't keep failing with money and expect to have money.
Yeah.
And in life, if you keep failing, right? If the goal is, I'm going to fail to figure out how to succeed. Yeah. I mean, you got to be willing to take the risk, obviously. Yeah. But you know, you don't want to keep losing. I see a lot of people, they keep losing. And I was in Bucharest, and you could see the audience had been losing over and over and over again. And after a while, you're like, shit, I'm just done.
That's demoralizing,
You know.
So, as you know, I'm obsessed with communication and public speaking, so I'm going to bring you back to that.
But it is all that, right?
They go hand in hand.
Yeah,
sales, influence, business, public speaking, it's all the same.
Sure.
So if you've mastered one, it's transferable skills to the other.
Yeah.
Definitely. I see that a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to any kind of practical techniques on stage that you use, do you do anything in particular that you have in mind?
I'm very authentic and very transparent. Like, I just tell the truth I only talk about things I know.
Do you mind not being liked?
Oh, yeah, I don't like, why do you say that?
Because if you're successful, to some degree, you have to be polarizing.
Doesn't everybody like me?
But to some degree, you have to be polarizing in your speech to really get that impact.
You know, I think, you believe that, huh?
I've seen it happen a fair bit.
Yeah. I mean, I am extremely polarizing.
Yeah.
I am, like, I'm the only person more polarizing than me would probably be Donald Trump. I know a lot of people that do not use that as the way. The best speakers that I know are not polarizing speakers. They're much more pulling heartstrings to the audience, connecting, talking about their upbringing, their failures, their losses, to connect with an audience that might be broken. That is not my strategy when I'm speaking to an audience, but I know a lot of guys that use that. I mean, I think that is the most popular presentation style is to connect with an audience via, hey, let me tell you how handicapped I am. And it's not what I do. It's not my style. Like, we do a lot of webinars. The webinars that we've done we probably have the financially most successful webinars in the world.
Yeah.
They're paid for webinars, not free. They convert. This is public speaking, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's not speaking to people live. I have to communicate through a camera to tens of thousands of people. And the way I was trained to do this by a guy named Lewis House. You probably know.
Yes, of course.
See, Lewis
He's fabulous.
Yeah, you see, he has the style to connect through the brokenness.
Sure.
And so we did one. He's like, Grant, this is the way you have to do it. Okay, you got to spend the first couple hours. Grant, don't start pitching your deal. We got to connect. We got to spend time. He's like, we'll save the pitch for the last 20 minutes. So I did that with him. And then the next, I told my guy Jared that runs our sales department, I said, I want to do another webinar in less than 30 days. And I said, I want to test out something.
Yeah.
We did our pitch in the next webinar in the first 2 minutes. Lewis told me, don't do that. We didn't spend any time connecting. Mm-hmm. We just said, hey, for the audience out there that wants to buy something from me. Yes. That was our opening.
Logic.
Totally.
Got it.
So it's just a little bit different flip. You have to be extremely courageous to do that, though. I mean, it's a risky thing with an audience.
Yeah.
So what techniques do I use? I don't know what I use. I just tell people the truth.
Mm-hmm. Speaking authentically. Yeah.
Very authentic. I do not talk about things I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I don't do life coaching. I'm not there to fix anybody's emotional condition. I'm not trying to change their state. I'm not doing any of this. Mm-hmm. Nobody's doing a rub down. We're not doing jump up and down, get excited. I don't do any of that. I don't do any of the gimmicks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm there most of the time talking about how they can be more effective in a number of areas in their life, whether it's money or business or sales or getting what they want.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy being up on stage? What is kind of a driver for that?
Do I enjoy being on stage? Not particularly.
No.
I enjoy helping people, you know, and if it's one person, look, the most effective way to be on stage today is via stream.
Yeah.
I can be in front of 50,000 people without leaving my home. So me traveling to Dubai to speak to 7 people in a room is it's great. It's awesome if I help those 7 people. Mm-hmm. But it's an extremely ineffective use of time and energy.
Right. And that kind of brings me to one of our final questions here, which is, you are traveling the world, you know, you're giving back a lot, you're working, it looks at least nonstop. There's like a lot going on. Yeah,
there's a lot. I there at the ocean today, I'm like, man, I hadn't been in the ocean yet. I need to go in the ocean.
So, are you not gonna tan? Are you not just gonna have a day out? Tan?
Are we doing something? We
Yeah? I already have half a day.
You know, look, my mission is to help people.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can help myself in that ocean. Mm-hmm. And that'll be great. And I'll find time to do it. But
what drives you? What is it that keeps you pushing through?
I want to help people. So there's 20 times more people on the planet than in America. Yeah. America's not as much as we are in America hypnotized to believe that America is the greatest place in the universe. And while it's an unbelievable place, you know, there has to be some other little spots on planet Earth that are fantastic. Yeah, and you know, I discovered one of them right here.
It's fabulous.
Unbelievable. Like we got here. I mean, there's a lot of great places, and what makes places great are the people. And I can't meet people. We've showed up to the hotel last night. There's people in the lobby waiting to meet me. I'm like, dude, I love this. That's what I like, right? Meeting somebody I don't know, him and his girlfriend, and they're both in real estate, and they're trying to make their business work, and they're like, hey, I'll watch your videos, and you help me, and that feedback that I actually might have helped somebody in another part of the world, you know, it is so much more powerful than money.
Powerful. Yeah.
And it's so much more powerful than some adulation that you get because you're on stage and the audience stood up and clapped for you for, you know, oh my God, that was great. And that's not always the thing that gets me. Like, oh, your speech was,
right.
you know?
Right, right. I mean, we talk about the different layers of speakers. You have educational, motivational, inspirational. So these people, they move you a little bit. But the ones that really move your soul and change your path, they're the transformational speakers. And that's really where you want to be. And that's clearly where you are. You're changing people's impact and paths and all of that. And that's wonderful. That's, I mean, will you ever retire knowing that you're able to do that?
As long as I can do it. As long as I can do it and I don't look like some old man out there. I just don't want to look like some old, you know, oh, they're wheeling old Grant in. I don't want to do that. You know?
So what are your top 3 tips for people that are looking to pursue, you know, a similar career as yours?
Well, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would tell you, number one, don't. If you think speaking's a business, it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because you're just being paid to be a performer. It's not a business. It's you know, I've watched some of the most recognized names in the world die broke. Being public speakers.
Really?
Trading time for money. Most of them, by the way.
Yeah.
So most of them are not financially successful. So you hear about the couple guys that, you know, made a bunch of money. It appeared they made a bunch of money doing that. That's not where I've made my money. My money's been made because I took the money from speaking and put it in real estate.
Right.
And watched it grow.
Right.
So while people think that I have made money speaking, it's just an illusion.
So that's one vertical, technically.
So, so I'd be very careful. Be sure that speaking's not your motivation. Number 2 is I would just tell you, like, you know, get secure in yourself before you start trying to get admiration from an audience, because it can be a bit of an illusion.
Right.
You know, that you're going there. I know speakers that work for nothing because they want the admiration so much. You know, and they want that, they need that. It's like the actor.
Yeah.
You know, that'll work for nothing. You know, the other thing is when I get on the stage, the first thing I do is I go find the edge of the stage. I go find the very front of that stage so I don't fall off of it. And I want to connect with that audience. I want to get as close to that audience as I can. Yeah. I like lights in a place. I don't like dark places. So I like seeing the audience. The third thing I would just tell you is, like, find out what is true for you. And if it's true for you, stay with it. It doesn't have to be true for the audience. If it's true for you, stay with that message and just go deep on that message and look at all the different angles of truth that you have in your life that you can share with an audience that could have some kind of impact.
I love that. So speak your truth. Yeah. And I love that you're saying dig deeper into it, come closer to your core. Yeah. That's a lifetime of pursuit. Yeah. It is, and you're absolutely right. The ones that do it brilliantly are there. They're speaking from a core right here. Yeah. Thank you so much, Cardone.
No, thank you.
It's been such a pleasure.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.